Over the last week, I've been reading Balance by Ira North. The congregation went from 400 to over 4,000 members while Ira was preaching there at the congregation. His book is about church growth, and he emphasizes one passage as he calls it the golden key to church growth. And so my ears obviously perk up if we want to grow and impact our community in a much greater way. Well, what passage should we keep in mind? What's the golden key? He says Ephesians 4:3 is that golden key to church growth. The passage clearly says, eager to maintain the unity of the Spirit in the bond of peace. As Christians, we have to be eager to maintain unity in the Spirit and the bond of peace. As much as we have talked about relationships over the last year, it should be impressed on our mind how important it is we have unity with God and unity with each other. Paul goes on to explain how we can do that in Ephesians 4. So if you have your Bibles, Ephesians 4, start in verse 1 with me. Paul says, I therefore, a prisoner for the Lord, urge you to walk in a manner worthy of the calling to which you have been called, with all humility and gentleness, with patience, bearing with one another in love, eager to maintain the unity of the Spirit in the bond of peace. There is one body and one Spirit, just as you were called to the one hope that belongs to your call. One Lord, one faith, one baptism, one God and Father of all, who is over all and through all and in all. First, he points out that we should be aiming to live a life that is worthy of Jesus' sacrifice, worthy of the gospel of Christ. We should be displaying humility and gentleness toward others in our relationships. We should be patient with one another, and we should be bearing with one another in love. In reality, we learn in 1 Corinthians 13 that love bears all things. So when he says bear with one another in love, it's kind of redundant. We should be bearing with one another in love. But we see also in this passage what we have to be united on, what we have to agree on and understand. And those are a series of ones that are listed here. There are 7 ones: one body, one Spirit, one hope, one Lord, one faith, one baptism, and one God and Father of all. If we're on the same page on these items, we can maintain unity together. Maintaining unity means swallowing our pride at times. It means giving someone else what they want at times. But if we as a body, if we as a group are eager to maintain that unity, there will be times we get our way too. We'll be mutually submitting to one another. We will be mutually yielding to one another. It's about seeking the good of the kingdom. Maintaining unity means seeking the good of other people. If we want to continue to impact our community, we will maintain at all costs the unity of the Spirit in the bond of peace. Ira North wrote in his book, I want to read a paragraph that's so important and really states and frames the significance of maintaining unity. He says, a congregation can have the greatest teaching program in the world. It can have the greatest mission program in the world. And it can have the greatest benevolent program in the world. But unless it follows the teachings of the New Testament and the example of the church in Jerusalem and puts it all in the framework of the unity of the Spirit and the bond of peace, its growth will be stunted, its future uncertain, and its influence greatly diminished. We've all seen what disunity looks like. Maybe in our families or at our workplaces, or perhaps even in a church context, we've seen a lack of unity. It's ugly. When people are fighting with one another, it's ugly. People get hurt. People say things that hurt other people. It sends people. It eventually will send people away from Christ because they see us and they don't see Christ. C.S. Lewis wrote in Mere Christianity, when we Christians behave badly or fail to behave well, We are making Christianity unbelievable to the outside world. Our prayer and our aim should be to continue to be eager to maintain the unity of the Spirit in the bond of peace. It's a constant battle. I love our congregation at Golden Strip. I'm always encouraged when we are together as a church. I don't see unity a problem, but we know that the devil is going to constantly be attacking us. And we should all have the humility. We should all have the gentleness, and we should all display the love that we need to be eager to maintain the unity of the Spirit and the bond of peace. On our own, we can be easily broken. You've probably seen a demonstration, I've used it before, where you take one wooden pencil and you can snap it in half. It's easy. Most anybody can snap one wooden pencil in half. But if you take 5 or 6 or 10 and you put them together in a stack, in a bundle, and you try and break those pencils, it's nearly impossible. So it is with us. If God is in his rightful place and we are serving him, we are serving Christ and living for him. If he is our king, if God is our king, if Christ is our king, and we are united, we will be able to stand against the schemes of the devil. So let's continue to pray together, pray for one another, and pray to maintain the unity in the Spirit in the bond of peace.